life. So thank you again, all of you that are listening. And the good news is that this will be also recorded, and we will have that available for everyone to watch at their convenience in eternity, I guess. So today is Thursday, the 23rd, 2020, and I will be talking to you about what happened since we last met about 2 weeks ago. What is very important is that we had a very long, intense council meeting this week, Tuesday, and we spoke about 4 or 5 important items that were a direct result also of the current pandemic, COVID-19. And so in the afternoon session, the council sat down and was presented by a staff proposal for a rental assistance program. And the bottom line is the council approved that program. The city will allocate around $800,000 towards a rental assistance program that will help all those that have lost their jobs in the city of Monterey, and will supply them with rental assistance for a period of up to 3 months. Now, what you need to know is that those funds will be used to augment state and federal funding levels that are allocated for that purpose as well. And there are clear directions and regulations that we have to abide by when we are creating this program. We are basically required to ensure that the funds are going to that the funds that we are spending are being spent on the housing assistance only, that the funds have to be guided by accounting principles by HUD, and that those funds are also being directly disbursed to the landlords and not to the renters. We had a long phone conversation on Monday with HUD, which is the Housing Authority, for a federal agency, and they outlined directly the restrictions of using those funds. So this is not a giveaway. There are a lot of restrictions, so to speak, but the good news is that all those are on the side of the city. We need to ensure that we are complying with those accounting principles, and then the money can be given directly to the landlords in exchange for the rental assistance for the renters. The city is looking at a third-party provider who will manage that program. As you know, there are agencies out there that are working on rental assistance programs already, and so we will partner with them to ensure that we are compliant with all those restrictions. Again, conditions are you have lost a job in the city of Monterey, whether it's in the hospitality business, whether it's another small business, whether you worked in the trade or in an office that cannot function right now. And it doesn't matter where you live, as long as you also fulfill certain income criteria, you will be eligible for rental assistance. That was dealt with in the 4 o'clock session. We propose to discontinue some programs that we usually fund in order to be able to pay for the rental assistance program, which is about $800,000, as I stated. One of the programs was the Mr. Fix-It program, which basically enables folks that cannot afford essential home repairs to help the city to pay for that. These are sometimes roof repairs, sewer repairs, etc. And so in this case, the council said it's okay to discontinue the program, but don't bring it down to zero. Leave $50,000 in the Mr. Fix-It program as well. So we have now a good program for rental assistance, and we have about $50,000 there also to help the most urgent needs, to replace a sewer line here and there, fix the plumbing for someone, make roof repairs, etc. So that was the afternoon session. In the evening session, our finance director spoke about the uh, financial disaster that the city has struck. We have over $10 million in revenue losses just for the remainder of this fiscal year. And the finance director outlined the challenges where we have those losses. And as you all know, we are highly dependent on tourism-related revenues, hospitality industry, hotels, motels, restaurants, shops. All those have been devastated, and of course, revenues for the city show similar devastation. Council received that report, asked a lot of questions. We received also public comments about that. And we came to the next item in the evening session, which is that we are proposing to furlough all those employees right now that are directly affected by the COVID-19 orders to not execute or to not work in their respective professions. It's not just the hotels are not allowed to operate or the restaurants are only switched to takeouts. The shelter in place order also prohibited the use of the conference center, the recreation centers, the library, etc. So what is very important to state first and foremost is we have proposed not to shut down those facilities in perpetuity. Right now, the facilities have been shut down by the actions of the shelter in place orders. So we are not allowed to open the library. We are not allowed to open the Schultz Center, which is our senior center, and all the other centers. As soon as we are allowed again to open those facilities, we will open the library. We will open again Schultz Center. Speaking about the Schultz Center, be aware that the governor very much outlined his phased approach, and he spoke also about the most vulnerable community members, our seniors, and said that they are most likely the ones that we have to protect the most, and they are most likely the ones where we will have to have a phased approach very conscientiously. So I would expect that the Schultz Center might be open at a different time based on the medical advice of the state and the Monterey County Health Officer, not by the city. But one of the misconceptions that was coming out over the past couple of days until Tuesday night was the city is closing the library. No, we are not closing the library. The library was closed by COVID-19. The library will be open when we are allowed to open the library again. Same applies to all the other centers. We can open a rec center when the state allows us to open the rec center. So please note that. It is not intended to close the library, Schultz Center, rec centers in perpetuity. We will open them up as we are allowed to open them up. But until then, we have over 100 employees that are working in various functions that depend on those revenues, mainly in the library, mainly in the sports center, mainly in our recreation center, as well as in our conference center. And those employees are the employees for which we do not have right now the original service work to be done. You cannot go into the library and you cannot use their services right now by going into the library. You use the library right now virtually by going into the online catalogs. And as you can tell by that, until we really have the opening of the library, we don't need as many staff as we have right now. So what staff has proposed to the city council is to temporarily lay off all those employees for which we do not have right now customers, guests. residents who need their services. The council collected a lot of input about this proposed measure, and as you can imagine, the sentiments for our employees who are utmost qualified and very dedicated about their professions were very, very important to be heard. We heard from our employees, we heard from our residents who really appreciate their services, and the council now has to make a decision whether to lay off those employees or not. It is our full intent to rehire those employees as soon as we are opening facilities up and as soon as our customers are returning to pay for those services again. I'll give you an example. The Sports Center has a large group of customers, residents, non-residents that are members of the Sports Center. As soon as those memberships are returning again, we will staff up appropriately, but we will open the Sports Center on day one when we are allowed to open the Sports Center. The same with the recreation programs. If we have programs that are being again filling up, like our preschool programs, we will bring back the preschool instructors. So for the library, like I said before, we will open the library also on day one when we are allowed to open the library. However, the library will not be open for 7 days a week anymore. We are working right now with the library director again to figure out how many days should we open the library, how many hours per day, but you will have an open library. So the council will look at that, and we simply have fiscal challenges in affording right now employees for which there is right now no meaningful work. A preschool instructor cannot teach children right now. A guest services coordinator in the sports center has no guest to service right now. So those layoffs, as I stated, are fully intended to be temporarily. They will become effective if council decides so June 2nd, 2020. The employees will receive another month of continued healthcare benefits. And on Tuesday night, the council asked us also to look into an option to extend healthcare benefits. And we are very committed to do so as well and find solutions for them. Parallel, we were asked to discuss with the bargaining units if they are willing also to enter into salary reductions. And we'll see what the outcome of those meetings will be and report to the council that on Tuesday. So the next important meeting is Wednesday next week, April 29th, starting at 4 o'clock. The council will pick up this topic again and will figure out if they want to proceed with the layoffs or not. So let me sum it up one more time. Nobody is closing the library. The library was closed by COVID-19. We will open the library when we are allowed to open the library. No one has closed the Schultz Center. COVID-19 closed the Schultz Center. We will open the Schultz Center when we are allowed to operate again a senior center. So I hope that I can put to rest all those rumors. We're working diligently on coming up with solutions that reflect what we are all standing for, that are reflective also of the Monterey way. And I am very, very hopeful that we will see a great deal of our employees back as our centers are allowed to operate as normal as usual, as well as the library, as well as the conference center. Later that same evening, I'm still reporting about the Tuesday night meeting. We approved, the council approved to immediately help out the general fund by taking around $10.3 million from the neighborhood community improvement program as well as from the capital improvement program and reinfuse those funds back into the general fund. This will help us to balance our checkbooks. This will help us not to go into debt or tap into our reserves. We still have to figure out how we get through fiscal year 2021, but this will fix the budget hole that we are currently experiencing based on the revenue losses. And another item at the very end, the council also approved economic stimulus package for our small businesses. We are tapping into funds that have reserves that are dedicated for certain purposes that we cannot really transfer into the general fund. So this is not general fund money. It's Tideland funds money and parking fund money. And each one of those two funds will allocate $500,000. That $1 million package will basically help, hopefully, those businesses that are also falling between the cracks, maybe that the state and the federal funding has run out for them and they need help to remain open. We want to target specifically also small businesses with less than 5 employees. They get often overlooked. We have a very verbose, very organized hospitality industry. They will be taken care of for sure, but we also need to make sure that we look out at the small micro sites, the small businesses with less than 5 people. So that's what what was Tuesday night in front of us. We received bad news last night. You might have heard the Concours d'Elegance in Pebble Beach has been canceled. And what followed directly after that was that the car auction in the conference center, RM Sotheby's, was also directly canceled. So that means Car Week will not happen. And if I told you that a year ago, a lot of folks would have said, that's really great. We don't have traffic in town. We like that. I think a year later, the same folks might state something differently. I just want you to consider that thought for a second as well. So Car Week will not take place. What that means for us is that our financial prediction models are moving to model number 3, which is worst case scenario. And yes, we are modeling that already as well. We have been modeling that as well, but it gives us more clarity. And so as we are moving forward in budgeting for the city of Monterey, we can already now say we know Car Week will not happen. So we got clarity, and with having clarity, it helps us to plan. And with helping to plan is knowing some of those factors, those unknowns are taking off, and we get another variable that is now fixed. And so, and that could be, you could say we have good news. The city is fully functional today. Our essential services that are defined not by me, but by, again, COVID-19, public safety, public works, everyone is functional, everyone is healthy and working. That is good news. The list of the defunded NCIP projects we will post on our website. They are also in the agenda package that was published for Tuesday night. So if you want to look at the list of NCIP projects, they are in the 421 council agenda package. I wanted to talk briefly about Monterey County Fairgrounds. We have worked with the county to help them figure out what to do at the Monterey County Fairgrounds. As you have heard, the county intends to create there an alternate housing site. They have entered into an agreement with the state of California, which operates the Monterey County Fairgrounds, to take over 3 of their exhibit halls. They plan to establish inside the exhibit halls alternate housing sites for females, males, and for potentially families, as I understand it. We have worked with the folks from the county EOC to provide them with feedback about security that we think is necessary, about egress access to the county fairgrounds. We're doing this because we know the county fairgrounds is directly adjacent to three of our neighborhoods, and we need to take care of our neighbors and our neighborhood concerns as well. And as part of that, we have collaborated over the last weekend with them to really figure out the details. That site will become probably operational sometime at the middle of next week. I've asked the county administrator to have a media walk with me and with our chief of police and also their sheriff's department and their health department early next week, Monday. And we basically want to be as transparent as we can be to show what is going on there and to avoid the mistakes that the state made when they talked about when they brought people to Asilomar for COVID-19 positive cases. We are also have collaborated with the county EOC in providing them with the options of housing COVID-19 positive cases in hotels and motels. And the county was very appreciative of our efforts there. As you can tell, the city of Monterey has a different relationship with hotels, motels in Monterey, and we have been helpful there in giving them the names of the operators of 12 to 14 hotels, motels that would be willing to house COVID-19 positive cases. These are those folks that live in crowded um, conditions, and they need to be extracted out of the crowded conditions if they show symptoms for COVID-19 positive, and they need to be separated. And so these are hotels, motels that are also considered for that. What you also need to know is that the county is standing up two similar areas, alternate housing sites, one in Marina and one in King City. And another one they are in negotiations with is in the city of Salinas. These are all contingency plans, and that tells you also that we are still not out of the woods. We are still seeing the Monterey County Health Officer doing those serious contingency plans, which means we need to stay home, we need to shelter in place, we need to continue the social distancing. Let me just read this. Local hotels reopening in violation. BP, they the DA will investigate those, and if hotels are opening up for travelers who are using it as leisure travelers, the DA will look into hotels and will ensure that only essential travel will be conducted during those times of needs. So that's something again that the city and the DA's office will collaborate on. And I think that you find always people who are rule breakers, and I'm glad that the DA will look into that and help cite those folks that are violating the orders issued by the governor of California as well as the Monterey County Health Officer. Okay, I think I've seen all your questions here so far. I thank you again for listening to me. Again, my apologies for the late start. We had really some serious trouble with YouTube. Having said that, the shelter-in-place order is still in effect. We are ready to close the beaches if we see that more people are coming to the city of Monterey. We are patrolling those beaches with our police. We have two small all-terrain vehicles that are driving up and down the beach, and we have all the signage ready to block everyone from going to the beach. Now that is, again, as you know, the last resort, because many of our residents, many of the neighbors adjacent living to the beaches are going down to the beach and enjoy a stroll. And there's nothing wrong with it as long as everyone keeps their social distancing and we adhere to the rules that were given to us by the Monterey County Health Officer. We are, as I said, actively monitoring traffic, especially over the weekend. And if we see something should happen with respect to crowds flocking onto the rec trail, onto the beaches, we will be diligent in stopping everyone. Now, we will be not discriminatory there, so there might be also neighbors that will be prevented from going to the beach, but we are very concerned about this and will continue monitoring that. And I know some of you are very concerned about this as well. There are a lot of folks that ask about, is there a list for local restaurants that have takeout options? Yes, those lists are everywhere. Just Google it and you will find it. I cannot point you directly to one point right now, but I've seen multiple lists. I think the Monterey Chamber of Commerce is one of them that has a list like that out. But the next door medium constantly proposes where to go, etc. So this information is out there. And again, if you have neighbors that have COVID-19 parties and that is something of grave concern for you, call the Monterey PD at 646-3914, 646-3914, which is the non-emergency number. Let us know, and our police will be responding and to your concerns, and we will be able to help you there. Good question also was about the potential for retirements. Yes, the underlying message also is for our employees who are eligible to retire to consider that as an option in order to help us with our dire financial needs. That is an option that we have that we are making our employees aware to use, and I know of at least one or two retirements that will happen by June 30th. And of course, unfortunately, those two positions that provide services to all of you right now will not be backfilled because we don't have the funding for that. But yes, thank you for that question. We are promoting this as well. With that, if there is anything else as an urgent question, please shoot me the question now. I will sign off. There is right now a meeting going on, a virtual meeting with District Supervisor Mary Adams and the mayors from the Monterey Peninsula that started at 9:30. But they can wait because I made you wait. So I apologize for that. Don't seeing any more questions, I will be signing off now. I'll let you know that over the weekend I will offer to my son to give me a haircut, and I hope it all grows out so that when I see you again in 2 weeks, I look a little bit better. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay shelter in place, wash your hands, remind others to do the same. We are not out of the woods yet, and we'll figure it all out together. I'm very sure we'll figure it out. Everything that we have lined up is lined up to help all of us to get through this sooner than better. Thank you so much.